I believe in schools that Roy was at teaching. It was even more of a more of a dangerous thing not to listen.
Okay.
You know,
Well, interesting you say that, Pete. Roy's school, it was a dangerous school if you didn't listen. Okay, so is there I gotta be careful how I say this. Is there an example that maybe Joey or Anthony or yourself or anybody, did you ever feel like maybe like eek, maybe I shouldn't have done that? Roy's gonna be mad, or could you have ever seen Roy doing something to one of those guys? Or, I mean, I'm sure he would have if it came down to it, but
if if well, let's just go with how can I say this, with the Harvey.
oh, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, I can't give you a better example.
There he is right there, right?
Yes, that was like a son to him. You know what I mean?
It was like a
But
son, yeah.
he he was such a maniac in so many different ways. He screwed up so bad that, like I said, when the domino factor come down, you know, you just do what you have to do, even if it breaks your heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's the best way I could put that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to ask you something, Pete. This maybe it's a little personal, but and we'll use Harvey as an example because a lot of people might know or may not know, but I know you knew Harvey way before kind of you
Oh
knew
yeah,
any of the you knew him when you were like 16 years old or something. Way
correct.
before you knew Roy or any of the others guys, you and Harvey Rosenberg, some people call him Chris Rosenberg. You knew him for so many years. And he progressed into this, what some would say, a brutal killer, a infamous criminal in his own right. One day he has to get murdered by his teacher. When you know somebody that long on the streets, Pete, and you hear he's no longer with us, what does that feel like?
Well, how can I put it? Like I said, it depends on the reason he's no longer with us. You know what I mean? Like, how can I say this? Uh, sure, we all feel bad for the physical person we knew him as. That he's gone, and that's that. That's that. But the reasons behind that, might equate that feeling that it's not such a bad feeling. You understand that some things deserve to be done. Some, it's just the way I feel about it. That's like you know a pedophile. Let's use a pedophile for instance, right? And
Right.
and you actually know this guy's a pedophile, and you know that he's hurting children and stuff like that, right? And for whatever reason, he's gone. Okay, now, not just the person that made him disappear a bad guy, or is the world, indebted to him for doing something to eliminate a person like that?
Right.
You
No, I hear you, Pete. I mean, I guess I was speaking more on a personal level because somebody like me or somebody watching this, like, yeah, we don't know Harvey Rosenberg, he killed a bunch of people, this and that. I guess the world is better off without him. But you knowing him on a personal level, do you get emotional? Is there something in you that says, wow, man, I'll never see Harvey again? Wow, what a shame. Or, I mean, I know he tried to kill you too, but I don't know if you
Yes.
want to talk about that. You can get into that if you want.
Now we can talk about that at a later time, but without that, uh, how can I say, without that influencing what I'm saying, like I said, sometimes, hey, the world is better off without certain people. However, they look. A lot of times we don't judge people, but that doesn't mean we won't send them to be judged sooner for what we think.
Wow.
Everybody has their certain standards of what life's about. You know what I mean? And if you had a scale of 1 to 10, and you put that same thing on that scale, you often wonder what that scale would read when everybody checked the boxes. Hey,
So wait, say that again, Pete. You said we don't judge people, but that doesn't mean
that
if we had to, we won't send them to get judged sooner. Is that what you're saying?
right, correct. That they should be judged sooner. And
Interesting. Wow, what a quote, Pete.
I believe that,
Wow.
Mom. Like if I see somebody raping a little child or something like that, and I took it upon myself to stop that, I don't feel like. I just feel that that's something that every individual has to have their own opinion of. Like I said, if you put a chart down there, any with a scale, and you had to check it off, say 10 people to see what they would do, that would probably answer your question, a lot easier. Would they do something to prevent it again? How many people check that box? Get
Yeah.
rid of that piece of shit. Or how many people say, well, it's not my business. Think about the next child or the next little kid. I'm not sure if I'm putting it the right way, but I'm trying to
No, I
say
mean, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, Pete. I understand where you're coming from. I guess the problem is like, the people who killed Harvey, Roy, and whoever it may be. Actually, I don't. To be honest, I don't have to say whoever it may be. I mean, in the eyes of the law, Joey, Anthony, they were actually convicted of that, Pete. I know you know that. So, whether you think they were there or not, that's something that they were convicted of. That's why they're in prison now. One of the reasons why they're there. Some people have a problem, because a lot of those stories came from Dominic Montiglio, who wasn't even there. He said he heard it from this guy, he heard it from that guy. But, I guess the problem is, Pete, you use the example of somebody who touches a child inappropriately, right? And generally we all have the same opinion on those type of people. But I guess when you have a bunch of killers killing another killer, I mean, it just kind of is all like, you know what I'm saying, Pete? It kind of makes the whole situation
a little
wild.
blurry. But see what you just said? Killers killing other killers. Now,
Right.
in that infrastructure, you got to remember, a lot of times, they never really went out of that way to kill. How could you say innocent people? Don't get me wrong now. There was times when it was, I guess you could call it collateral damage, just like the service says, whatever the bullshit is,
Correct.
but they never really went out of the way to hurt anybody. It was usually between us, our faction. You know what I mean? As far as I can think about it, you know what I mean? Nobody said, well, let's go see Molly Brown. She shit on the sidewalk in front of Joey's house. Let's just whack her.